was a hero in Ladysmith, actually. Because Bill's wife had left him for someone else, and Bill was, everybody liked Bill Stearns, and so for me, it was, an uplift, because I got invited into the community, and he was kind of in the upper rung of everything, and so it was a real boost for me. But I don't think I really took you boys into consideration that much. I mean, you went to school, you got along, you were good athletes, and you didn't complain about that. I mean, there were things that, we all got into trouble here and there, but and as I learned later, that apparently there was a ton of drinking and stuff that I did not acknowledge. If I was closing my eyes to it on purpose, I don't know that. When I saw Mark the last time, he really told me, I mean, he didn't tell me details, but he said, you have no idea how much drinking there was going on, and he said, you just don't know all the things that we did. And I said, no, I don't, I guess. But so I wasn't with it. I mean, I wasn't a good parent, I guess, and in that I knew what was going on or tried to stop it, or even when you got drunk and threw up in the wastebasket and whatever, I didn't really deal with it. But the end of it there was, interesting, I think, in that I felt like I was kind of the referee in that household. I was, in all of my dealings with you kids, my philosophy, in my mind at least, I don't know how you received it, but in my mind, I wanted to talk things out. I didn't want to beat you to a pulp because you did something wrong, or somebody decided you did something wrong. The point is that I was more inclined to talk about it than to deal with it in any other way, and Bill was not. And so I felt like I was really refereeing the events that needed some discussion, and I hated it. I hated to even think about disregarding what my husband said. At the same time, children are everything. A mother's love to a child is, it goes over the power of anything else that there is. And so if I thought anybody was picking on you, I was going to protect you. So that's kind of where all of the final controversy came, I think. And you were a difficult kid and having trouble with this whole situation.
Well, and the cancer of refusing to accept step-parents as part of your family. Exactly. is something that I should have been forced to understand, because I never thought of it's not a matter of maturity, it's a matter of understanding something. And to me it was like we were taught, well, you're in my house, you're going to follow my rules.
And that's exactly what he said.
That's not the same thing as, I'm a new kind of member of your family. I'm a new kind of member of your family. I'm not your dad. I don't want
I don't want to be your dad.
I don't want to be your dad, but I'm a new kind of member of your family. And if I could have understood that, and I think I might have been able to understand that.
But I don't think he understood that.
No. And
that wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to be the dad.
Right. And the parties weren't able to have that sort of a reckoning. But it needed to happen before you made the decision to go to Ladysmith.
Yeah, and it did.
And we needed to figure that out.
I never accepted the fact that you had a new father, and because your father was great, and you didn't need another dad, but you did need to live in this household, and we somehow had to learn to get along. Mm-hmm. And that we never really accomplished, I don't think. But Bill was, I think Bill was a great guy, and I still to this day respect him. And I'm sorry that he hasn't found another partner, because I think he needs to be with somebody. He's a good man, and it's too bad. Another, my fault. Here I left, because I did. I walked out of there and I left.
Yeah, but
Well, he
That's
finally,
complicated.
that was really complicated, and he finally told me that night that you called and wanted to come back home. He told me, he said, he is not coming back in this house. And I said, well, then I'm leaving. And he said, okay. And because I said, he's my son, and if he wants to come back, he can come back. And he said, nope, he's not coming back in this house.
So you see, it was his blind spot.
Yeah.
And being able to say something like that to you is the reason that there were all those kinds of difficulties, because he was a classic 1950s.
Exactly. It still is, I presume.
1950s male. You know, I certainly don't blame him for all of that, but
No.
we were, I and well, probably me in particular was the least prepared to deal with somebody like that.
Yeah.
And so that, I certainly feel bad about that, and I love Bill, and I've told him that I do, and I feel the same way as you. I respect him in so many different ways. He has contributed to me, tremendously.
Yeah.
And I've told him that, and we're good. And
It's interesting that you were ultimately the one that broke the camel's back, or not you, but the
Right.
whole situation.
Right.
And yet you are one who goes back and makes it a good relationship still.
Yeah.
And it's really neat that you've done that. That is really complimentary, because you didn't have to spend any time with him after we got out of there. But I assume that he appreciates that. And at the point when I left, it was already over. You guys were all gone. You were going, if not gone. And I thought a lot about that. I thought, well, the situation is going to be different. We will not have the constant everyday hassle of the children and us. But I felt like, all of this had lessened our relationship. I mean, I couldn't get back to thinking of him as my husband and lover. And I mean, I was so mad at him for, I guess, for not helping me find a way to work this out, or however I want to say it. I just kind of, again, used this mentality that I'm born with, that to hell with it, I'll go on and do something else.